Hi there. Welcome to the Call to Cinema, and today we are talking about the timeline that almost was, the timeline that kind of is, and the timeline that never will be. Or will it? That might change. Today we're talking about Halloween 3. The neat thing about this is an old watcher, new watcher type of thing in different ways. I have watched this movie years ago. Uh,
Yeah,
this was Malcolm's first watch of the film.
yeah, it
So I'm
was
going to
my
give my
first
thoughts
watch.
first because I am very curious to see what your thoughts are going to be, and I don't want I want to. I'm very curious actually, because this one is not going to lie. This is a different one. It's
Yeah.
very much kind of a cool film. Now for
I
this movie,
because
I'm playing around with the. I'm just playing with the editing. Just having fun.
oh, so what's he doing?
Halloween 3 is one that I always enjoyed, though I got a fun kind of little story but my somebody that I knew. I won't say who it is, but somebody that I knew and their girlfriend went to see this movie in theater, and they realized it wasn't Michael Myers; it was totally different. So the girlfriend pretended to be sick so that they could leave and get their money back. I'm not joking. This really happened. Just really happened. And that was a big reaction when this movie came out initially. Now, I was a massive fan of this one. I knew a bit going in for this film because I was a big Nigel Neal fan. I like the Quatermass films and stuff like that. Even though Nigel Neal pretty much
Yeah,
like owned this film, um, but because he wanted to move a lot slower than it did, um, and he wanted to like even. I think he wanted to be even more nihilistic. And I think like, how the hell is that possible?
yeah,
But we got this is a very different film. It's not Michael Myers. So what had happened here is there was Halloween 1 and 2. We'll get into that timeline next tomorrow. But this was going to be its own thing. John Carpenter didn't want to do a part two. Neither did Deborah Hill. They were obligated.
yeah.
And the basically the fog was made, uh, and that was one of their concessions. So he said, "I'll come back to do part three, but it's got to be an anthology. We got to like just start doing like different movies. No more Michael Myers. You would make a Halloween movie, do it every year or two, put the Halloween moniker on it. It'll be a different thing. This one here is about a. We get to see a man at the beginning of the film, being chased by this almost kind of unstoppable guy, who chases him into basically into a hospital, brings into a hospital, um, and ends up kind of killing him and catches him and set himself on fire. Like, yeah,
And
and we
it's quite
find,
shocking when you first see it because you're like, what the hell?
yeah, like because we don't know because spoiler alert, like he's kind of they're kind of a lot of robots and stuff like that in this movie. It's cool. What I like about this film, the villain is amazing. Uh, I
Oh,
really,
yes.
I really, really like this guy. So it's played by Daniel Hurley, and he plays Conal Cochran. And Conal Cochran is a guy that has a well, it's a toy like place, but he does right now. Silver Shamrock are making masks, and apparently the most popular mask in the world because there's only three of them, and they were created by Downpost Studios, by the way. We get the witch, the skeleton,
Pumpkinhead.
and Pumpkinhead. Really cool masks, by the way. These actually exist. You can buy them at your local your local Spirit Halloween. Um, and it's so cool. They're so cool that they use. I thought it was brilliant that they use the theme to London Bridges. Did you notice that by the way?
Yeah.
From Silver Shamrock, like theme song. Like when I was a kid, I didn't pick up on that right away. I'm like, oh, this is really catchy, and I didn't. And but as an adult, I'm like, wait, that's London. That's London
You
Bridges. That's the
know,
music.
I haven't heard the song play this much in a film since I watched Doctor Who's The Gunslingers with William Hartnell with the last fights alone. You know what I mean? I was
Yeah,
like, how many times do I have to hear this? It's like in every scene.
and oh my God, Tom Atkins is so good. Um, Nancy Loomis is back as his wife, as his suffering wife, or
Yeah.
like kind of like separated wife. He's the hero, but he's like a hard drinking doctor, sleazy guy that hits on and sleeps with everything. He's a skirt chaser, but he wants to eat.
it to get in with a woman.
Oh yeah, like he'll do anything. There's a scene where he gets some alcohol and he stops for a second to like have a drink with the town drunk. So, and then just to go back to the room with the girl, like this young girl, much younger girl than him, and it's like, well, what do you want to do? And like, basically,
Don't you ever get tired?
It's a science fiction movie. It's a science fiction horror film, and I loved this movie. What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
What do you think of this one?
Okay, my thoughts going in was, what's going on there? You know, the guy got crushed with the other guy in there. I was like, how risky was that? But he could have got rolled over on himself. The hospital bit was chilling, all right, a little bit.
Yeah.
So when you meet Tom Atkins, it's really good because you get to see him as quite the strong personality, but he, even though he's a little bit of a sleazeball, as you put, he's got a lot of integrity when it comes to finding out the truth.
100%.
You know, so when he meets this woman, and this woman says, "I want to know what happened to my father," right? He jumps in it, maybe because she was hot. So he also went, "Yeah, okay."
Well, she was.
I personally definitely asked for a room for just the both of them. When he says at the beginning, we'll book 2 rooms, but instead goes, let's book 1 room. Because he was hoping to get up with action. She jumps on him immediately.
She does. That's the thing.
And you're like, wow, she must really miss her dad that much then, eh? Right? So she, so they do that. And then they do this investigating thing, don't they? Where they like visit the thing and they meet Colonel what's his name? Colonel Cotton?
Colonel Cochrane.
Colonel Cochrane, and the guy just radiates evil. I haven't seen a guy radiate evil since that bad since like Dick Jones in RoboCop. You know, just the way he's like completely like,
He's like the best James Bond villain ever type character.
Exactly.
Did you
know?
I got to say this. Did you know that when they're doing the love scene, you know the lady in the other room?
Yeah.
That's Tom Atkins. That was Tom Atkins' real wife.
Whoa.
Yes.
Wow, she must have. So she's into that, is she?
It was a scene. Now, what did you think of the scene? Of the scene, the kid at the TV with the mask on scene.
Oh, you're talking about the bit where it got combust kind of thing and the things.
Oh yeah, what do you think of that?
That was so creepy. Like when the doors are locked and the parents are freaking out, and like the kid's there, and it mushes in, and then you get more and more of these bugs coming out. Like, oh god, it's so disgusting. And you know what? In 4K, that makes it even more horrible because you can see that sliminess. You can see that. You can see their legs on VHS. You wouldn't be able to see any of that, right? Or DVD probably. It was phenomenal, that scene. That's probably got to be the best scene in the movie. The other best scene in the movie for me is when Tom Atkins, right, is tied up with a mask on, and you're like, he really doesn't like Halloween, does he, the movie? Because he's trying to smash the TV in while it's playing. You're like, whoa. You know? And then the advert in the bar for Halloween, which basically shows you the end of the movie, like they did back then.
It was great, and the fact that it says, "Okay, we're not in the same universe." Here's,
Yeah, exactly. You know, but they're not in the same universe, but they've got the same actress who's playing his wife. So that was interesting. But I will say, I really liked this movie. I enjoyed it quite a lot. And then the more I went through it, the more I enjoyed it. Like the bit where he's in the hotel and he goes back and the girl's been taken. And then he looks out and there's those guys standing there, so clean and so, organized. And they just start smashing the door in and everything. And he's running away from them and hiding and all this. It felt so genuinely creepy, a bit like Invasion of the Body Snatchers in a way.
Very
how they were, And then when you get to the ending, right, I love how he used their own devices on them, right? When he got the box and threw them over. And I love the way the villain goes out like a villain should. He stands there and he just looks at them and he says, like, well done or something to them, or say, whatever.
Which makes perfect sense for this villain.
And then the block basically takes him in and then blows up.
Stonehenge
Uh,
mask.
yeah,
They used the
you're just
Stonehenge
like,
mask.
like it's incredible.
And
But I
speaking of
think
invasion of
going
body
in,
snatchers, the actual ending of the film is literally probably taken from
yeah,
Invasion of Body Snatchers.
yeah.
Alternative.
I'll be honest though, if you're going into this expecting like just a full-on horror slasher kind of thing, it's not that type of movie.
No.
If you like sci-fi horror, you know what it reminded me of? It reminds me a lot of the old anthology shows, you know, the ones where you'd watch it and there'd be like a story in there, but there's multiple stories going on with the characters. You get what I mean? The other thing I really liked as well was what happened to the girl. I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, let's not give
You
that
know,
away.
at the end.
But this is one time I don't want to give it away because somebody hasn't seen it. I really want them to go blind on this one.
Mm.
But yes, this has always been. Now, I'm glad you liked it because this has always been a favorite. This is a 5 for me. I'm not going to lie. There wasn't much in this film that I didn't like. I love that they brought back Dick Warlock, the guy under the mask from part
Yeah.
2, to play at the beginning, to be like chasing after the guy. That was
Yeah.
him, right? That's the guy under the mask.
Yep.
There's some very good actors in this one. Dan O'Hurley stole it, though. Conal Cochran is such a good character. This almost became an anthology series, but unfortunately, Malcolm, this really failed at the box office.
Yeah, because people expected Michael, didn't they?
They did, and this wasn't like in internet days where people can get ahead of things and stuff like that. That we're gonna come back to this one a bit more when we get to the Blumhouse ones, because there is a correlation. And I think now that you've seen it, when you rewatch a certain film with a certain core in it, there's going to be certain parallels. Did you notice, by the way? Because I know you have seen Halloween Ends before, right?
Yes.
So did you notice that the opening font for Halloween 3 was the same font that Halloween Ends used?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't notice that, but you're right.
That's for people like like me. I'm a massive Halloween fan. So when you go into Halloween Ends, the second I started watching Halloween Ends when I did. Now I don't want to get into it too much right now because we're going to get into it.
Yeah.
When they showed that font, then all my expectations that I had before were gone.
I also think, was it Halloween Kills that had kids run by with the masks on from the movie?
Well, that one and in the first one too, we actually see the masks, but we see more in the second one. There's little nods here and there for that one. We'll get into the Blumhouse ones though. But I actually really like this. I like the mask. What's your score for this one?
I'll give it a 4.5.
That's a fantastic.
Because I really, really liked it, but it wasn't something I think I'd watch over and over again. That's why I give it 5, you know, so I watch over. So basically 4.5 is the best.
For someone, yeah. That's a fantastic score. With that being said, this didn't become an anthology series, but if it had, we would have seen Prince of Darkness as a part of the Halloween series of films.
Good film.
We would have seen In the Mouth of Madness as a Halloween film, and we would have seen John Carpenter's Vampires as a Halloween film. All 3 of those would have made it as part of the anthology. We probably would have seen more different ones as well. But sadly,
Body Bags.
Exactly. And Body Bags does play in Halloween. The first story in Body Bags is set just outside of Haddonfield.
Yeah.
The one at the gas station. But
I do like that one. One thing I don't like about the Blu-ray from Shout Factory is it's got a lot of hissing on it. You know, when they say words.
I gotta watch that again because I got that here. I think I was just so excited to have it on Blu-ray that I was just but no, this is one that I have to say. Overall, this was a great film. You know, woulda, coulda, shoulda. It would have been a great anthology series. Am I still glad that Dwight Little came and did part 4? Well, we'll get into that actually. We'll get there, so you'll find out.
We will.
But overall, this one I think was an absolutely stunningly fantastic film, and could have easily been a great anthology. And I think if it had, you would have gotten as great as a lot of stuff John Carpenter did. I think we would have had a lot more kind of revitalization for John Carpenter in the horror genre if he would have been able to do what he wanted to do.
Yeah. One more thing for you guys: if you're on the fence about getting the 4K, buy the 4K because the 4K looks great.
This is the only one I don't have in 4K, by the way, yet. And my daughter has this, and she said this is like the best of all the 4Ks that they put out for the films. So I absolutely can't wait to grab this on 4K. So there you go, guys. This has been Halloween 3, the timeline. Thank you, Malcolm. It's so great to talk to somebody who's seeing it for the first time, like to see it through somebody else's eyes. That is one of the most exciting things for me when it comes
It
to
is, isn't it?
And with that being said, we will be back tomorrow where we'll be talking about Halloween, this 78, and Halloween 2, 1981, the night he came home, and more that same night, because those two films are a timeline, and that in one timeline just ends right there after part 2. So that should be fun.
It's going to be interesting.
All right. So like, share, subscribe. Make sure that you're a part of our Patreon because you want to be here for day 7. Because day 7, we're going to be looking at all 6 timelines that we talked about the days before. And we're going to do a ranking. We're thinking about doing it live. I think we may do it live. So
I think we should.
I do think we should. So make sure that you're there for that because you can follow us. You can watch all these here pre-taped. Watch them in a row. You can have a nice marathon if you have not watched them every day. And be there for day 7 because let your voices be heard on your thoughts.
Yes, we'd be interested to find out.
I'd be interesting to say. I'll be interesting. Hopefully, I'll be interesting.
You'll be in the comment section, listen to yourself.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh, there you go. But I'd be interested to see what everybody else's thoughts are on this as well. So with that being said, again, guys, hope you guys are having a happy Halloween month, and we'll see you here tomorrow for what I like to call the original timeline.
Oh yeah.
Happy Halloween.